my name's Jeremy, and this is my flying story. Since my early years, I've had an interest in flying. Over the years, I've gone from being a very amateur pilot of model aircraft to having exceptional skill. And with this came a somewhat feeling of exhausted achievement. This was not enough. Flying has been a long time pursuit of mine, which on a number of occasions I gave up as I found it to be somewhat unachievable due to the expense and the complexities of the activity. With this change in desire for model aviation, I strongly considered flying real aircraft and took steps to start on that journey. In January of 2017, having a nagging determination, I took my first step and obtained a pilot certificate manual and a pilot logbook. At this point, it was still very much a pipe dream of actually flying a real aircraft, but I felt good in the knowledge that I had at least taken the first step. Would there be any real turning back from this now? In a matter of weeks, I went out and had my first lesson. It went for a whole hour. At this point, I was very nervous about flying and was very apprehensive about continuing the journey. Another couple of weeks went by and I was already longing to go flying again. This time I was a little less nervous and actually controlled the aircraft by myself for quite a bit more of the flying time. On the 15th of July 2017, I became a solo pilot. One of my greatest ever bucket list items was ticked off. I flew a plane by myself and I could not believe it. It was absolutely amazing. One of the best times of my life. Having learned the basics of flying, I then pursued learning flight navigation. At first I found this to be quite complicated. The calculations, geometry and different sections of airspace and instructions at times were confusing. But I soon enough learnt what I needed to and was able to fly abroad. By this point in my flying history, I had become very confident at flying, barely requiring any correction or input from an instructor. I had taken a number of friends and relatives flying and had already completed a number of navigational exercises with an instructor. With special permission from the club, I was permitted to do a navigational flight to Port Pirie as part of my navigational exercises. I was very excited as I had been waiting to fly to Port Pirie since the start of my training. The good thing about flying with someone is the ability to take over the controls so as to take in the scenery. This happened on many occasions during the flight and made the trip so much more enjoyable. The vantage point views along the coast towards Port Pirie were amazing. To have never before seen the town from such a place was incredible. The vastness of the ocean I once fished from became very apparent. The volume of water around Fisherman's Bay on the ground seems quite extensive, but in the air it seems like nothing more than a little stream. The final approach to runway 26 Port Pirie was a sense of great achievement for me. I had finally made it to Port Pirie by plane. Traffic Jabbering 7385, clear of all runways. Well, we made it. I don't know where we're supposed to park, so no. On the return trip from Port Pirie back to Adelaide, I couldn't resist. I had to fly briefly north over Waroona Island, or Port Flinders, and Port Germain, and take in the scenery of the Flinders Ranges and have a look at the Port Germain jetty from a spectacular vantage point, and then we would return to Adelaide.